Now is former Congressman Duncan Hunter Sr., who once held that same district. He is also the father of the current congressman.
And Congressman Hunter, you are here with details that you believe need to be said and need to be told. And one of them is, we all know the investigation has been about a year and a half. You have something to say about the timing of all of this.
Yeah, well, to start out with, these two Democrat U.S. attorneys who pushed for this indictment, the two ladies that went to the Hillary Clinton fundraiser, have had all of these records for a year and a half. And we've read about that in the Union Tribune. They've had all the records from the campaign for a year and a half, and here just before the election, when it's almost impossible to have a trial to show your innocence before the November 6th election, they're doing what I would call in this football season, the late hit. That's when you throw charges out, you throw mud on the wall, knowing that the guy can't clear his name before the election, and they're hoping that the indictment itself, that causes him to lose, even though he's found innocent in the trial that finishes after the election. So first, listen, I've read these. I've been a congressman for 28 years. This is garbage. The idea that you can't have dinners with your campaign supporters and pay for them out of campaign funds, even if your family's there, even if you have a good time, you're supposed to have a good time in politics. That's baloney. It's specifically provided for in campaign rules. That's what you use campaign money for. You use it for those meals. And in fact, in Washington, D.C., you can't take a check for a campaign on Capitol grounds. So you can't be in the Capitol saying, here's a check from a supporter for my campaign. You have to walk across the street to a restaurant, to a hotel, to the hundreds of venues in Washington, D.C., where you have dinners, where you say, hey, Joe, thanks a lot for supporting me. I'll come over and see you at the Capitol Hill Club or at this restaurant or that restaurant. And you meet them.
Hunter, what about the tuition and some of the other expenses?
Listen, there's two things here. One is what I'd call the big ticket items, the tuition, the kids' teeth. Margaret herself, Duncan's wife, who was the campaign manager and made these expenses with the campaign checkbook, she herself has told the lawyers, Duncan didn't know about this. They don't care in the U.S. Attorney's Office because he's the prize. I think they're only including Margaret in this because they know they have to make it look natural, to make it look genuine.
So he was on set with us prior to the primary and said there was wrong campaign spending, but not by me. That's what he's referring to?
Exactly, and he's trying to protect his wife and kids. And so Margaret paid the kids' tuition to Christian school, paid for teeth, etc. Those are what I would call the big ticket items.
You've mentioned
they have tried to prove, they've got all these records for a year and a half that they seized a year and a half ago. And obviously not one of them proved that Duncan knew about that. So what do? They come in with the late hit when he doesn't have time to go to trial and clear his name, and they hope that kills his chances in the election.
But doesn't he have a responsibility as a congressman to know what's happening with his money?
Not the thousands and thousands of campaign items that are on your campaign. Let me tell you, I was a congressman 28 years. You're going 24/7, right? You presume you got stacks of paper this high. You presume they're all being filled out right. But here's what he did. When he found out about it, he did an audit of his own campaign. This is before the last election in 2016. He came up with more money, with about $60,000, than the committee had. He paid every dime of it back. Sold his house, paid every dime of it back. He did everything exactly right after discovering that this had been done. And Margaret herself said he didn't know about these big ticket items.
Looking at the investigation, former U.S. Attorney Greg Vega, who is a Democrat and was formerly here in San Diego, he did publicly say he thought the people investigating should be changed. Why is that?
Well, yeah, Greg Vega is a Democrat, the former U.S. Attorney for San Diego. He sent a letter to the U.S. Attorney saying these two ladies, Alana Robinson and Emily Allen, went to a Hillary Clinton fundraiser for free, a $1,000 fundraiser, had their VIP pictures taken with Hillary on company time, on taxpayer time. It's a violation of the Hatch Act. He said they should not be doing this investigation. They're the ones that when Alana Robinson became U.S. Attorney in January of 2017, immediately went after Hunter, who happened to be the first congressman to endorse Donald Trump, the adversary of her favorite person, Hillary Clinton. She immediately went after him. So Greg Vega, Democrat and the former U.S. attorney for San Diego, said she should be removed from this investigation. There's not the appearance even of impartiality here when you do those things. Now, you know what the answers come back, and you should ask the U.S. Attorney's Office. They said, yes, she was at the fundraiser. This is my understanding. Did get her picture taken with Hillary, but she was there on official business protecting Hillary. Well, I've never heard of a U.S. attorney or several of them going to a candidate's fundraiser to protect them. And I bet you she didn't go to Donald Trump's fundraiser. He had one here. Why don't you ask her? And I bet she didn't go to Bernie Sanders' fundraiser. He had one in San Diego. Why don't you ask her?
As Duncan's father, what advice do you give him now to survive in November?
Well, listen, we're going to fight this thing. This is a rough and tumble business, this politics. But he's a good man. I want to ask, you know what I would ask the people of San Diego County? You just remember one thing. This is the same guy who, when we were attacked on 9/11, quit his job right downtown, walked across the street, joined the Marine Corps, and deployed in 3 combat tours for our freedom. Wait for the verdict. Wait for the verdict.
Lots to play out.
Yeah.
Good
Congressman,
last
thank you.
words. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay.